How you doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I am finally taking a look at the Harald Curved Greatsword on this Big Boii Poise build. Now, I've previously done a video with the XL Curved Greatsword, and I think the Harald is just slightly better, although they're both pretty damn good, but I'll discuss the pros and cons of the Harald at the end of the video. So let's go straight into the build here, guys. We're at soul level 125 using the Prisoner's Chain as usual. So that's 39 Vigor, 37 Endurance, 36 Vitality, 22 Strength, 18 Dexterity, and 30 in Intelligence, and 30 Faith, because we are using Dark Infusions. Now you'll notice I got quite a lot of Endurance here, 37, pretty much the same as it was with the Dark Exile build, practically because we are using a lot of running attacks, and the Curved Greatsword class itself is quite stamina intensive as well. Not as stamina intensive as something like a Great Hammer, but you still need to stamina manage appropriately, so I think having a lot of stamina to do running attacks and also normal trades and have enough stamina there to roll out and evade is very important. So we've got 170 stamina here in total, keeping in mind we are also using the Ring of Favor +3. Now over to the equipment page, the Harald Curved Greatsword +10 with the Dark Infusion gets an A scaling in both Intelligence and Faith. And with my current stats two-handed, we get 698 AR, which is pretty damn good. Now even one-handed here, guys, we're still breaking 676 AR, so this thing is going to hit for monstrous damage. Now back over to the equipment page, in my second right-hand slot I have the Sacred Chime of Filianor as per usual, so I can open a match with passive HP regen. So that's Bountiful Light with Pray for Favor if I'm given time, and then switching out to the Harald with the Blessed Cestus in the left hand, for about 12 HP regen per tick for 60 seconds of the match. Now back over to the equipment page, in my left hand I have a Blessed Cestus +10, and in the second slot I have a Dark Longsword +10 there to complement the Harald in the right hand. So basically we're going to be using the Dark Longsword here to deal with unfavorable matchups, also to finish people off as well. It's quite good for that, and deal with stuff like Quick Step also. And it's also quite good to follow up after a running attack, surprise your opponent with a straight sword attack, which is quite good there. It has a lot more speed than the Harald, and it is hitting quite hard here as well with these current stats, 495 AR one-handed. Now back over to the equipment page here, guys. In terms of armor, I have the Drakeblood Helm, the Wing Knight armor, the Wing Knight gauntlets, and the Havel's leggings there, for a total armor poise of 44.85. Now my aim here with the Harald was to go above the 44.84 breakpoint, so essentially with this much armor poise, guys, we can infinitely hyper armor trade against every two-handed R1 up to and including the Greatsword and regular hammer class. We can only tank one two-handed R1 from an Ultra or a Great Axe, and we cannot at all trade with Great Hammers. So we're going to have to use our speed here to hit them outside of active frames and pick them apart there with our running attacks and also our fast attacks from our longsword. So we have to avoid trading with those Great Hammers. Another great thing about the Curved Greatsword class here, guys, is with this poise level, we will be uninterruptible with our running attacks against fast weapon standard attacks. So against, say, straight swords, for example, their standard attacks, we'll be able to punch through them with our running attack there, guys, which basically is great because it's capitalizing on one of the best moves or best attacks of the Curved Greatsword class. Now on top of that, we do have some decent absorption rates with this armor set, especially the Wing Knight armor, which gives you some great dark defense there against the Dark Infusion meta. And on top of that, obviously our Dark Harald Curved Greatsword and Dark Longsword will both help us chip through those meta shield setups. Now in terms of rings, I have the Chloranthy +3, Prisoner's Chain, Havel's Ring +3, and the Ring of Favor +3 here to round out the build. Now let's go take this bad boy into the arena. Here we go. Alrighty, guys, here we go. What do we have over there? Looks like it's the Hazel pick. So we can expect our opponent here to have some sorceries. Powerful running attack from the Harald Curved Greatsword draws first blood in this match. And again, geez. Trying to go for that parry there. Looks like he's got a parrying dagger there in the left. Bad idea. GG. Straight on to the next match. What do we have over here? The Icy Knight. Using a Black Knight shield and straight sword setup. Classic meta. Or Icky Knight, sorry. I called him the Icy Knight, I think. And we can definitely outpoise that stance weapon art with our armor poise value and our standard attacks. And as you can see, chip damage really does add up against the meta shield setup. 115 chip damage there. Alright, let's smack him with our straight sword now. Ooh, that was close. Gotta keep the pressure on here, guys. GG. Alrighty guys, next match. What do we have over there? Looks like the scimitar. A curved sword. So we may run into some trouble here. Ow. Well, passive HP regen here has helped us negate all the damage from that opening attack from our opponent there. Just trying to go here for a... Did you see that? Alright, let's see if he decides to stand in one spot and go for parries again. And there we go, GG. Alrighty guys, straight on to the next match. Thank you for waiting, good sir, you are a gentleman. Now I've got to be careful of that Aaaannnd over there. And he's using the Ultra. Luckily he's using the Ultra one-handed, so we are able to outpoise him there. And smack him with a running attack. So that's the thing with Ultras when you're one-handed. Your poise health remains the same, but you actually deal a lot less poise damage. So he's unable to poise break us with that one-handed moveset. And GG. Alrighty guys, next up in the arena. Looks like we have a greatsword over there. From what I can tell, it looks like the Claymore. Always make sure you have enough stamina there to roll out, guys. And we can out-poise him there at the trade. It's good for us. And GG. Alrighty guys, straight on to the next match. Looks like we have Yorm's Great Shield over there, with probably a straight sword. Blessed weapon on a straight sword. Is he still using that? No, so he switched out the Great Shield. Oh, there we go. What the hell happened there? A bit of lag, it's always great. Ooh. Just missed each other there. Almost got him. Can't discount the usefulness of having chip damage on a shield, guys. It's just some good stuff. Uh-oh. He is committing suicide. So, GG. Next up in the arena. Oh, it looks like we have a straight sword and Black Knight shield combo over there. The classic meta setup. I wonder if his straight sword is dark infused, possibly. Oh no, he's using the Ring Knight straight sword, so oh no, he's switched over to an Ultra. This guy kind of looks like the Joker. Pretty cool. Whoops. I totally mistimed the weapon art there for that trade. That's okay. Barker Bombay. Alright, so he switched up there. Alrighty guys, next match. Looks like we have a split leaf greatsword here. Going in for that trade. He's probably trying to get in the split leaf combo. But we're not going to let him. That's the one. And GG. Alrighty guys, let's go for one last match here today. And it looks like we're coming up against the Black Knight Great Axe over there. So let's see what our opponent does here. He goes for the one-handed or the two-handed moveset. Looks like he's going one-handed, in which case we'll have no issues here with our poise, unless we are interrupted prior to our active frames coming in, or if we get interrupted with a running attack. Obviously, because running attacks have the least amount of hyper armor that actually stacks with your armor poise value. And there we go, GG. Alrighty guys, so that brings us to the end of this particular video, taking a look at the Harald Curved Greatsword on a Big Boii Poise build. Now, what can I say about this particular weapon here, guys? Well, look, it is a curved greatsword, so it's going to benefit from some really, really strong running attacks. And from my understanding, the Harald Curved Greatsword actually has even better reach than the Exile Greatsword, so those running attacks are going to be even more difficult to deal with, especially when we're fighting those faster weapon classes that we can just punch through with our armor poise value. We're really going to be quite devastating with those running attacks. However, obviously you have to keep in mind they can be parried and they're quite easy to avoid as well, so you can't be just relying on them exclusively. Now on top of that, the regular two-handed moveset is quite average, to be honest. Obviously, because we're armor poise optimized, we have quite a decent amount of trading capability here, but unlike other ultra greatswords, the curved greatsword class can actually be parried, even the two-handed moveset, so you really have to be aware of your opponent's parrying arm, guys. They will be able to parry you if you're being quite obvious. Now the R2 isn't that effective, but it does create opportunities for a bait into a hyper armor trade with regular two-handed attacks, and the one-handed moveset here isn't very good either. It's very similar to the two-handed moveset, but obviously it combos well with your dark longsword depending on how you approach your opponent. Now, unlike the Exile Curved Greatsword, the Harald actually has a very useful weapon art. Obviously here it's like a stomp, they jump. Now this can continue until the end of your stamina bar, obviously when you hold down the right trigger, and you can also jump with the right button. Now obviously your aim to use this weapon art here with our poise level is obviously to go for a trade, so especially against ultras, for example, or those bigger weapon classes that we cannot trade with our normal standard attacks. You can use your timing there appropriately to meet them at the trade with the weapon art instead for some devastating damage. You have to be very careful though when you use it. Don't abuse the weapon art because it leaves you quite open to backstabs, okay? Now, but other than that, in terms of the Harald and the Exile, I personally think that the Harald is actually much better. Has better reach, it's got a much more useful weapon art as well. The only thing that it falls short on is damage, but only slightly. So I'm pretty sure the Exile Greatsword with similar stats gets, I think, 20 more AR, 20 or 30 more AR, while the Harald here is sitting at 698, so just shy of the 700 barrier. But, you know, in exchange, you're getting much better reach and also a much better weapon art as well. So I think those are worth it, in my opinion there, guys. Now, a couple of things to note. Obviously, it is a big, heavy weapon, so stamina management is very important. You do not want to get into that negative stamina zone when using this. And also, like I mentioned, watch out for those parries, guys, because even that two-handed moveset is susceptible to parry kings. Now, that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're enjoying my content, please subscribe. And as always, guys, thank you for watching.